Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and tonight I'll be having a gourmet Coca-Cola in the glass bottle as we spin a little bit of wisdom, because it's important we do things from the start and we do it right to give you the best chance of having a great life. Being able to work until you're 80, but in a logical sequence, making sure you don't chase your tail, making sure you get the evolution from adult into, or from child, adolescent, young adult into adult, manhood, so to speak, so that you can be a pillar of society. Into the topic, do you mean ADFA? I'm not sure what this one's about. How are we going for a sound check? And get some thumbs up there so that we can work out whether to go forward from here and play the introduction. A thumbs up for good sound, thumbs down for no sound. Let's go, team. For all those that are here for the first time, if you can hear me, subscribe to the channel to help me to help you. Okay, good. Sahara Sand, she knows all about tertiary education, okay, and the benefits of it. So let's kick into the introduction before we start to kick on with this channel. But before we do, let's whack this up here for a second, just to make it nice and clear. I'll remove this for a second. Military is upriver from university, which means it comes before it. And the rewards the service with self-awareness, maturity, responsibility, wisdom, recordable, what did I have there? Performance and passion for the yet unknown potential of selective employment. Okay, so what I'm saying is learn about yourself before you take a shot in the dark of something that you may not have a passion for and then have to backtrack, taking almost 10 years off your potential. So let's add some more wisdom to that with an introduction. Here we go. Going. It is very important that I put this subject out there, and this should have been right at the start. The importance of learning and have an education of yourself before you go and follow at great expense some industry, some course through university where you're going to start paying from day one and no guarantee you're going to make it through, and is there going to be a job for you at the end? I'd rather get paid from day one, do a university degree equivalent about myself, an apprenticeship about myself, so that I become the best version of me. So by the time I'm 24, after doing the 4-year commitment like you would for a trade, like you would for a university degree, learn about yourself. Where's your failure point? Can you trust yourself? What's the real traits about you that you don't know yet as you go into a separation of child to actual adult that can take responsibility for actions, a reportable version of yourself based on actual events, and then be able to do a reorganization of yourself and then follow your passion for the rest of your life. You're going to be working till you're 80. So don't have a problem with taking your time, pump the brake, do something physical about friendship and mateship from the start so that you've only got to make the right decision once. You really should do that when you go for a life partner. To become a lovebird, less is better and the grass is not greener. Let's see how we go in this stream. Army, then education, external education. There's only one way to do it, really. It's not for everyone, but if you're going to do it right. So yeah. Okay, so I'd say military almost is for everyone, but there's branches within military, in Air Force, in Navy, and there's almost not a fitness test for Navy and Air Force. So give it a go. If you've got the IQ, get in there, learn some tools, be the best version of yourself, an apprenticeship on yourself, okay, a university degree on yourself, and then go from there. We've got some questions for you. And again, the reason we do this is because we're pitching this at people at the moment that might be getting pressure from family, from parents, from teachers, from those that want to give 100 words of advice, but not be there necessarily for the journey, pay them to give them an alternative solution to a career, etc. So this is just a good to know, a conversation we're starting to give those out there thinking, I don't want to fucking go to uni, but my parents told me I'm going. Why? What am I going to do? Don't know. Let's go. What else can I do? Well, let's see. So let's look at this one again. Military is upriver from the university and rewards the service with self-awareness, okay, of maturity, responsibility, meaning you can take actions for your own fuck-ups. If you get caught drink driving, if you get caught with drinks, if you get caught getting someone pregnant, all of these things, take responsibility. It is your fault with mitigating circumstances. Wisdom, life spent. Recordable performance and passion for the yet unknown potential for selective employment. What? Next one. Question for you. Who wants you to go to university? Is it your parents or is it you? And do you have a passion for the subject or the elected path that you want to go into? You have to have an answer for that. You can't have passion for something because someone else wants you to do it. It has to be something that you electively go into. Otherwise, you're going to pay for it continually. Evolving around the sun, I'm doing both, studying criminology and doing Army Reserves. That's fantastic, and I guarantee you're probably older. Okay, so once people get older, they've got that life experience. It's been substituted, okay, with work, life experience, and then they do the benefits of both. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Dwayne, top of the bloody evening for everyone. Absolutely. Rogue, the thief. I want to go to ADFA as it's only, there's a love heart in the way. My parents will allow me to join the army. Your parents don't get to tell you yes or no unless you're trying to join at 17. Come on. They should not be able to clip your wings and prevent you from being the best version of you. Otherwise, you will fail or you'll have a resentment for life. Believe me. Criminology is a great degree, says Sahara Sands. Aussie legend. G'day, Kaz. Been looking forward to this stream because I haven't been here for a while. That's okay. You don't have to be a team, but when you pop in, it's going to be great. Big changes coming soon. We're going to look at opening up a second channel, okay? Because this military, we cannot make another 500 videos doppelganging the previous 500 videos for the sake of making, because people don't want to look in the back catalogue that has every single answer to every single question you could possibly have on a military career. Okay. I'm also recruiting 2 people. I need 2 people who are going to come and join the channel and help me as I make reaction videos, as I do the unwrapping of topics to create conversations, so that you see a multi-faceted, opinioned approach to topical issues that can affect you in your life and give you the scaffolding to go into conversations with confidence. You've heard multiple angles on how to answer it truthfully. Yeah. Right. So the next question, do you know yourself enough at 18? I'd say you're still a child at 18 to commit yourself to a life in academia that comes with a hefty price from day one. Day one, you're looking at $80,000 straight up, and it might as well be more if you don't even finish it. And then you've got to backtrack and go again. You've got to finish what you start. Crusher, there are so many, some parts of society where kids are expected to get a degree. STEM, I understand that, but I think that's ridiculous. The only people that should have to get a university degree, because your IQ, this is probably new to you, your IQ doesn't change when you go to university. You don't get smarter. People say you become more educated in one fucking subject out of 50,000 topics. What about the trade degree that someone gets as an electrician? Life and death in their hands if they do something wrong. That is intellectually stimulating and provides a service to the country that we could almost not survive without. Carpentry, the same. Mathematical, spatial equations, problem solving that is second to none. Your degree doesn't make you smarter. It just means you know about one subject. And one of the sad things about university, it takes all your art away. And it gives you a recordable, weaponized way of looking at things in the way that was easy for universities to market, rather than the fact that you might have been a maverick and actually changed the entire industry. We're told, no, we can't look at it from that angle because we don't understand your ADHD logic or your spectrum of understanding that might be far evolved beyond those that are teaching you. Are you even able to learn from the professor you're not even allowed to ask a question of, unless you actually lock it in and ask them afterwards? We're even seeing now the arts weirdos are being separated from STEM in some of the universities because of the amount of disruption they can cause. We'll show a video in a second. No, we'll do it now. Look at this for a lab experiment. This teacher who got laid off. This is during the COVID times. So let's have a look at this.
We talked to that
for a second. This dumb bitch, who clearly got a degree in journalism, is wearing a face mask, a COVID mask, while talking to a stationary camera. Is that either a lack of IQ, or is that maybe disingenuous? You know, she takes that off and then sits down and has a cigarette or a cup of coffee beside the driver who drives her around. That's ridiculous optics. Anyway.
Student this morning in an interview, he told us that he was shocked by what happened in class. The teacher won't be teaching that class anymore, but he is back in it today.
Who do we call when we're in trouble and someone has a knife or a gun?
I wouldn't call the police.
Why wouldn't you call the police?
So there you go. Straight away, female professor telling youth that they can't even trust the police. I know this is the US. I get that. But it doesn't matter because they're trying to defund police wherever they go, etc. You know, she doesn't deserve to teach. All right?
I don't trust them.
A Cypress College adjunct professor is now on leave after a Zoom video of an exchange with student Braden Ellis, who calls police heroes, went viral.
I think cops are heroes and they have to have a difficult job, but we have to have that
All of
fine
them?
life. Oh, I'd say a good majority of them.
Ellis gave a presentation on cancel culture and police in his verbal communication class. In a discussion afterward, the professor interrupted him multiple times, not agreeing with his support of law enforcement.
You have bad people in every business and every part.
Police officers have committed atrocious crimes and have gotten away with it and have never been convicted of any of it.
Ellis.
All right. She's an idiot. She's gone. Anyway, you've got to take your position to educate people very seriously and understand that what you say, especially have credibility, has ramifications potentially for a lifetime that can get people into a position of brainwashing where, you know, that might be the way they think and it might be detrimental for the rest of their life. So beware of that when you have the responsibility of a teacher or an influencer, etc. Guys and gals, we're very, very serious about owning what we say, taking responsibility for what we say, but also understanding there's two sides to many things. But academia is one of those things where there's people that are trying to educate people in a very sensitive position of their life. And, you know, don't let them down. Don't be disloyal to them. They're a sponge. Okay, teach them what you should, you know, and don't burn their dreams. Harry, g'day, mate. How you going? Roger Ramjet, I'll be there. I bet if she was in trouble, she'd be calling. Of course she is. I tried my hands on studying in uni. I'll put this one up. Wait a sec. I keep forgetting we can do this. Okay. Divaj. I tried my hands on studying in uni last year after graduating. I lost interest in it. Now I'm in a process of joining the army. I'm extremely excited. Okay, that's fantastic to hear. We've also, in line of what we were just discussing then, we've had some people on our channel, which I can't divulge their names, who have gone to university, and because of their conservative views, not right-wing, not left-wing, conservative, centralist views, they are basically told, because of your political views, it is highly unlikely that you will pass this course in the long run because it keeps influencing your answers instead of the preferred answers narrative that needs to be followed. And that's disgusting. That's disgusting, especially when someone's paying massive amounts of money for that degree. Evolving around the sun of life. Where are we? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yep. It's true. User right. What's the next question? Okay. Do you know yourself enough to commit yourself to a life in academia that comes with a hefty price from day one when you're 18 years old? You've just come from 12 years, 13 years, if you also add in kindergarten, okay, where you've been in the educational system. Now, without a break, all of a sudden you want to commit yourself to another 4 years, 6 years, etc., maybe longer, to academia where you're paying top dollar for it, having a coffee shop job to try and fund it, understand that you're probably going into something that is either crowded or doesn't even have a profession that follows it, i.e. the arts and the humanities. Okay, if you go into STEM, okay, is it going to be something that is evolving, or is it something that is shrinking because of the evolution of industries, etc.? Will there be a job for it, and is it overcrowded? I guess that's what I'm asking you. You've got to do that research before you go in and commit yourself to something financially. So what's the alternative to all of this? And I'm not trying to piss on university, because we do need it. We do need academia in so many subjects, but there's just so many that seem to be creeping in that aren't necessarily. Am I the expert on that? No, I'm not. Have I been to university? I have, but not to study. Work that one out, team. Again, I'll have that there. Okay, so an extension of that, is there a career path you choose, and is it overcrowded? Questions? All right, so let's get to it. This is the first one. Military service is a 4-year committed degree in the expertise of being you, fully paid from day one to enlist on a degree. Maybe you know before you know you, or before you're ready paying from day one. So would you rather get paid from day one or pay from day one? That's a big question. Your parents should be able to tell you why they want you to go to university. It shouldn't just be go to university for the sake of going to university and we'll pay for it, because guess what? If you pay for the degree for your children, all they're going to do is resent it or not give a shit about the course because it costs them nothing. If they have worked for it, then they will appreciate it. When we go on operations with the military and we come back with enough money in the kitty that we buy a car with cash, you don't appreciate it. You don't feel like you've worked for it. You've just got the cash in your account. Bam, there it is. You've got the car. True story. Right. 1, military. Let's just say you decide, I want to learn about myself. I want to do an apprenticeship on myself before I go into university, understanding that once I know exactly who I am, I'm probably going to be laughing. I'll know exactly who I am, exactly what I want, and I'll be so committed to it, I've got no chance of failing. Yep. What's James Richards saying? Apparently, teamwork, competition, exercise were not proven to indicate success as an officer, which I find hard to believe. Absolutely, I'd find that hard to believe. Teamwork, competition, exercise were not. You should never see yourself as it being the you show. What it's meant to be is the team. Use your competitive nature to compete against other organisations, franchises that are doing the same job, i.e. Alpha Company, 2nd Battalion, 1 platoon versus 2 platoon. That's fantastic. Your slowest guy versus my slowest guy. Let's see who's got the fastest, slowest guy, because we travel at the speed of the slowest. Right. So, number 1, I've got 5 points for you, because 5 will make you get down. Real mateship and camaraderie comes from adversity. It comes from pressure. It comes from shared adventure, testing the bonds of friendship to the limits. What does it equal? It equals trust. You're not going to get that at university. You won't get those sort of friends at university. They're just someone else that you have drinks with and someone you talk to and have coffee with. Those bonds are never tested, really, are they? Okay. Not like someone who is either traveling with you, someone who's overseas with you, someone who's watching your back, someone who picks you up when you're down, someone that you've seen when they're wet, cold, how they act in the morning when they're having a bad day towards you. Are they going to be there in your future? Yep. You learn all that in the military. That's number 1. Real mateship, real friendship. You're meant to be part of a herd. You're not meant to be by yourself. University, day 1, you're by yourself. Okay. And any spare time you've got, if you're not partying and failing, you're probably putting that towards some way of paying for your billet, where you stay, with your food, with your education, with your HEX bill, etc. So you're not going to be just hanging out with the people having the endless summer like you thought, or like you can see on Pornhub. All right. Okay, that's the first one. Let's have a look at the second one. Leadership and character develop in the spectrum of self-discovery. Are you a leader? The military will give you every opportunity to be a leader. University won't. Right? What about character development? You will face the truth in the military. In Kapuka, you will get told you have failed. Red pens exist. You'll get yelled at. You'll get told to hurry up, that your best is not good enough. But when you fail something, you'll be retrained and then you'll be retested, and then you'll go again. We will injure you with the truth, and then we will give you the medic, the advice, and let that truth heal and become a stronger bone that can't be affected, knowing that words cannot hurt us and words are not violence, despite what people might say from university. Character development. How fit are you? How far can you push yourself? You can't find out in one day. You find out in your exposure to reality within a military context where you're not alone, you're around friends, helping each other, with the foe being the instructors, being nature, being the environment that you're working in, the mission. When you fail, you are punished by nature or you are punished by failure. But then from there, you fix yourself back up and you never fail at that point again. You always evolve beyond that, become a better version of yourself. Character development. Find out how fast am I? How fast can I go over 24 hours? I can't believe it. I succeeded. That was excellent. I didn't think I could do that. Scared of heights? You got to get over it. Scared of confined spaces? You've got to get over it. Don't like certain people? Got to work with them. I'm not really into communicating? Have to communicate. All of these different things, we will expose you to them and show you through that exposure that yes, you can do it. And you are stronger than you thought. And the scars are invisible, but the scars heal. They callous and they create a better version of you. Maybe a colder version, but a better version. All right, what else we got? Self-discovery. It's a very important one, team, because if you know who you are, you know what you can do and you know what you can't do and you know what you like and you know what you'll tolerate. Put this back here again. Okay, what's this one? Job security and benefits. That's an important one. Let's see what you've got to say first. Evolving around the sun. I got into a very big debate regarding Australia Day with a lecturer in a uni class and received a disciplinary action over it. Turns out there was no debate, only one side. Academia is very one-sided. I've already told you I will not accept a welcome to country off someone when I actually come from this country and have worn a uniform to represent it overseas. None of these people were there to say welcome to country when my daughter was born. None of them were there to see me when I came back from overseas. And you know what's more? There was no Indigenous people turned up to give us a welcome from country, including to the Indigenous people that had come back from overseas with me. So they had the chance. No, don't tell me I'm welcome in my own country that I've defended. Don't do it. And that goes for you too. And I'd defend your point. And that person who had that debate with you and shut you down in academia shows that they shouldn't have a job there. That there is a narrative that they're following. Anyway. Let Kapooka decide who should lead. There you go. I really want to join 5RR. Does anyone know if Kapooka, you get to make it preference? I know that. No, you don't. That gets made at the School of Infantry, and it's based on meritocracy. Yep. Jay Frey, my first face is meant to imitate Kapooka. Yeah, that's right. Taj can listen to new Kanye album Vultures 1 while in Kapooka. Can I? No, you won't be listening to music in Kapooka, buddy. Firefox. Yes, you can list your preferred battalion, but sometimes you won't get it. Yeah, you won't get it. No one gives a fuck while you're in Kapooka. At the moment, you haven't even passed basic training as an Australian soldier, let alone singleton. Yep. All the best to Coral Platoon who are out at the moment, doing their defensive operations in the wet, getting ready to do their hardcore and get the Skippy badge. Yeah. Thanks, Devraj. Brady Cars, what form of disciplinary action do they apply? What's that, in the military or university there, Brady? Tobes, I'm going to add for next year, wanting to get infantry officer after RMC. Again, they'll decide whether you go to infantry at the end of that based on your decisive ability to make decisions, okay, in adverse conditions with minimum amount of time where you don't have all the facts. Billy, hope Quinny's doing well. To join the Australian Army is a major responsibility. You are joining an elite group of warriors to defend the greatest country in the world. Yes, it is, and we should be teaching that at university. that this is a country worth fighting for, girt by sea, that if you're not serving the nation in a uniform, then you can serve it as someone who contributes to the country and to society by being the best possible uni student graduate that you can be. Absolutely. Okay, job security, right? You are in the army, especially in Australia, until the day you decide to get out, unless something happens, which is an administrational discharge, a medical discharge, or a voluntary discharge, or performance discharge. There you go. So job security, you've got it. The worst times, they want you even more. Benefits. How would you list them? You get paid an absolute fortune when you base the fact that if you're at high school now, year 12 or year 10, and you were joining the military, not university where you're paying, or your mum and dad are paying, and you go to the military, you're going to get an adult wage from day one. From day one. You're also getting free medical, free dental, subsidised rent when you live in a rental assistance with your family, normally half market rent. Okay, from there you're going to get Olympic facilities like pools, gyms, etc. You're going to be cleared to secret at a minimum, which costs probably around $10,000 to get you that qualification, right? Which you can't get unless you go into law enforcement or intelligence community, which gives you access as a passport into every base around Australia, except for Kabbalah and probably SASR or to Commando Regiment, unless that's on an invite. So the benefits, housing as well. You can get house loans through the military where they will give you assistance packages that pay, I think it's $400 to $600 a month on top of what you pay to give you a hand. You can also get university and educational courses paid for while you're in the military. If you have a member in your family, immediate family, who is on death's door or in hospital in another state, you can get pulled out of field, and everything paid for to the door of your family to be able to go and support them as quick as they can do the paperwork. There are so many benefits of being in the military that you can't even poke a stick at, including about 10 weeks holidays a year too. That's excellent. Give me a civilian job other than school teacher that gives you that. Righto. Mr. Buckarooni's here. Mr. Buckaroony. Kaz, and now you've got me wanting to drop after year 10 and join up. No, mate, no. Do it properly. Wait until you've got that that year 12 if you can, because it's not just about getting a year 12 education. It's about being the best version of you mature-wise, letting your body and the scaffolding ready for that man labour that you're going to have to do, especially if you're going for infantry. So job security and benefits. There's many of them. And uni has no benefits. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of boons. Here's a big one. Bam, travel and adventure. Again, university doesn't pay a cent for you to go anywhere. The military, you could literally go to Kapuka from Darwin, all paid for, then go to Singleton, and then from there, you could end up going to a battalion, for example, in not in Adelaide anymore, land of the single mums. You could be in Brisbane. Okay, you could be in Townsville. You could be back in Darwin. And then from there, you could be on an exchange with New Zealand, America or England, depending on what's happening there. You could go into the Duke of Gloucester Cup if you're in an infantry battalion and represent that battalion. You could be working in amphibious operations on a Talisman Sabre, working on an American battleship. You could be in a helo flying over beautiful waters or bushland. You could be in armored vehicles experiencing things that you cannot pay for and receive. You might be on operational service being injected into a piece of landscape and history that starts to commence the day that your ID card acts as passport and has you traveling on government business in a foreign country, where hopefully you'll do more good than we do harm to someone. The travel that I've had in this lifetime that has been paid for by the military has had me in Africa. It has had me on the battlements of a Portuguese fort in Asia, over 400 years old. It has had me as an Egyptian citizen in Northern Africa, in Egypt, working out of the Sinai Peninsula, traveling through Israel. Where else? Through America, through New Zealand on multiple exchanges, throughout all of Australia, except Western Australia and Tasmania, the land of two heads, because you can't afford to send people where you need two helmets. No one can afford that. Guys and gals, the travel and adventure, the immersion into the jungle, and we've got people there from 7 Platoon. Okay, I won't say what battalion it's from, that I had a phone call from today. Incredible. And I never would have had any of those opportunities. Shit, I've been in a Huey that we used in Vietnam, that was used from New Zealand in Asia, flying over contested territory. Amazing. All of these things because I was in the military, and not one of those things would be available in university. So travel and adventure, and never alone, paid for with mates, experiencing it all together, creating that bond, that friendship that can't be extinguished. Okay, what else we got? We're nearly through this one, team. Number 5, service to your country and a legacy, a lasting legacy to your entire family, that you have served the nation. Okay, that you're not just words, that this goes deep. Your reputation and your honourable service is a feather in the cap of your entire family, not just yourself. It can go both ways. It can be dishonour to your family as well. So make sure you don't do that. You don't want that. Righto? But once you've got that in your system and you don't go through HR, because HR traditionally are fairly left-leaning, but if you actually get to meet a individual who's doing hiring, it can be the decider. I had a scientist that stayed here last night that was in Rwanda with me. He did military and then he went to university. And there he does aerial shooting out of helos, and he's going to a course in Canberra today with another guy that was in his same rifle section in Rwanda, who is teaching Indigenous people on aerial shooting of invasive species. How's that for a scientific involvement? His IQ is no more than what it was when he joined, but his opportunity is there because his heart is good, and he was focused. All of this possible because of his military career. So, in conclusion to that, what I'm saying is university does not set you up at all for a military career, but a military career absolutely sets you up for an educational, what would you call it? Benefit. Now that you've got everything out the way, you know what you can do, you know what you want, what is realistic for your desires, understanding you will work until you're 80 years old. There's no reason to ever retire, because when you retire, what are you going to do? Live? That's it. What does the army give you? It gives you experience to look back and say, I've lived my life. You don't really get to forge a life after 50. You get to look back on what you've achieved. Don't be in a room with no windows because you went to university, got paid a lot, put on weight, got lactose intolerant, but you've got enough money to travel, but your body doesn't like traveling. And you've got no memories to look back on because all you did was acquire wealth for you and someone else, and that someone else might have taken everything you're worth in the first place, or you might not have been able to spend any of that with family because you were too busy accumulating. So, guys, what does military give you? It gives you life. Okay, it gives you the ability to look back and say you've lived your life. Good luck if you're an accountant looking back and going, okay, it's too late now. I should have joined Army Reserve when I was 42 or whatever. Right, guys. I know it sounds opinionated, but guys, I get to hear my phone all day, every day, no weekends on Patreon, and I hear the regret in people's voices that have gone to university before military and said, this is not for me. I never wanted this. I went for this because I had an absence of what I could do, wanted to do. So I chose that and then chose the subject with no passion for it because I thought this will do. Join the military. Don't look back until you're 50. Follow that with a realistic timeline of what you can achieve within the military. Then move on to something else you have a passion for when you feel like your time is done. You've done your commitment. and you know exactly who you are, and you will have a recordable, reportable period of your life that when you go for a job interview, you can say, this is what I did. This is where I've been. This is the leadership that I've been able to portray. This is how I know I'm right for your team. Yeah, that's what I reckon anyway. And life is about wisdom. Press like if you can, team. 18. Come on. Please. Yeah, and don't be like that dickhead professor down here. I don't think I've met a professor at university I've liked, to tell you the truth. Anyway. What else we got? G'day, Harry. How you going, mate? Yeah. We'll do, what do we got here? Think about from reserves to, okay, here we go. Okay, so I was thinking about transferring from reserves to electronic warfare army when I finish uni. Would the electronic warfare job be worth it? Well, it depends on you. You know, I was core enlisted to go to electronic warfare, and then I went, you know what? I'm not going to sit in a building with no windows for 40 weeks just to tell me that I'm not going to make it. You know, so I got out and went to infantry, and I've never looked back, and I've loved it, every bit of it. I have lived my life. I've had a great time. I've seen human catastrophes. I've seen broken children. That's another way of saying it, team. You know, I've seen people's eyes for the first time have light in them when they saw Australian soldiers coming through their village, and they realised we're safe because they're a bigger wolf, a sheepdog, than the wolf that has been hunting them. Yeah, thanks for that, Harry. Thank you very much, mate. Gold Logie. Is it realistic for one to have military as a one and done job? Absolutely. You can stay there too long, but man, you can get completely institutionalized like I was. Yep. But I still love the army as much as the day I joined it. I'm born on Anzac Day. What would you expect from me? We'll get on to this one, then we'll go on to Mr. Buccaroony. Hey, Kaz, I just saw my enlistment for boatswain's mate in the Navy. Awesome. I got March the 11th. That's not far away. I just want to thank you for your help and your insight into the enlisted life. I come from an officer background. That's awesome. You know, I've had some great officers and I've had some shit ones, you know, and the best officers are normally officers that went so hard at the start of their career. When they're looking back, they realize their true love is for the enlisted man, you know, who sweats every day to give them the victories. Yep. Mr. Buccaroony, do not go to university unless you need it for a chosen profession. Agreed. You'll end up with a massive hex step and may never use the qualification. Absolutely. Or you might end up somewhere where they go, that university degree, forget it. Now we go from here with practicality. Hey, Matty Bridges, how you going, mate? Welcome, Matty. He's come to assist the channel to become one of the members. 1 month from now, mate, your rank will continue to go up. So well done, Matty Bridges. Do you have a great question that you could ask me right now? And can we get some thumbs up for Matty, please, team? Oh, there he is. Bam. 33 with 2 kids. Just waiting for on a date now for geeks. That's Signals, team. We'll be jumping on Patreon shortly for a chat. Your advice has been invaluable, which my uncle, who was para for 20 plus years, put me onto you. Thank you very much. And that's a big compliment because para, and we're not talking about paraplegics here, team. We're talking about parachute specialists. Are pretty much the most, not regimental, warrior-like guys that you come across. They have an expectation, whether it be from USA, whether it be Australia, whether it be from America, whether it be special forces, that they tend to live up to. So that's an absolute pleasure, mate. And I look forward to you and understand, Matty, that your kids will be so proud of the uniform and the fact that their father was in the army. You'd think that it'd be detrimental to be the child of a soldier, but it made my dad my hero. He was gone for ages at a time, but it allowed my mum to be able to say, you know what? When your father gets home, your ass is going to be purple. And it was sometimes, but I don't hold it against him. He's the best man I've ever met, and I hope in one day he looks at me and thinks, you've done all right, son. Yep. I always feel like a little boy around my father. That's how much respect I have for him. Yep. I hope he's not watching. My one gripe of going in as an officer is I want to spend the time in the field. I know as an officer, most of my time will be spent pushing papers. but it shouldn't. Listen to my last video. But I hope to join as an infantry officer and go to bush. Senor Tobes, if you watch my last video, you'll see that what I'm hoping will get to the highest levels, especially if people share videos, is that they bring in a class of officer, stop actually enlisting officers for a period of time. So it only happens once every 2 years. And the officers come in, are allowed to stay in position, ferment in that position, and stay as tactical commanders. And we also get rid of a lot of officers at the top. Concertina, that son of a bitch. And then the best ones get to stay. And people actually love to be there and be a commander rather than a politician going through the ranks as quick as they possibly can for all the rewards, while forgetting there is a burden of responsibility and a burden of command, which means you love your soldiers without necessarily telling them. That's what I reckon. Aussie legend, Kaz. What were the job preferences you chose in the army when you joined up? Infantry, armoured corps, artillery. But I was corps enlisted already after that to signals, electronic warfare, Morse code operator, etc. And then because I was in Army Reserve, remember, too, in signals, so I had an outside edge there. Yeah. Be very careful of saying artillery unless that's what you want, because as soon as you say artillery, they're not going to hear you say infantry. They're not going to hear you say cavalry. They're going to quickly grab you and make you locked in for artillery. I had one of the best conversations I've ever had, on Patreon a couple of days ago, where a young fella turned up and he had some medical issues that shouldn't be enough to make him not go to military, but he didn't know what he could do, considering he probably couldn't go to infantry. We gave him about 10 different job profile portfolios. He could not believe the things that would potentially be open for him. And one of the ones we settled on was submariner. You go to submariner and you're getting seagoing allowance, submariner's allowance, uniform maintenance allowance, plus your normal pay. Insane. And if you want people to turn around at a bar, let someone go, what do you do for a living? Yeah, mate, submariner. What the fuck? You work at Subway? No, mate, I'm in the Navy. You can trust me with your brother in the shower. What do we got here? How do you take an officer seriously with no soldier experience? We need them. You may not realize it, but it is good to outsource decisions that may be up to and including you losing your life. You don't want to be giving those orders necessarily just to your friends. You need the quarterback to be someone different, just like they are in the sport. Everyone gets to choose their lane, whether it be an officer or whether it be an NCO. And there is the burden of command. There is things that absolutely suck with being an officer. And they are honestly, especially infantry, they are assessed at a level which is extremely highly stressful and extremely competitive. It can be a very, very lonely way to earn a buck, I'm telling you now. But I've met some of the salt of the earth that are officers, and I've seen them come in sometimes, mind the language, and be a bit of an arsehole cocksucker, and then turn into someone by the end of their 2-year stint, which you'd absolutely have to meet your family on Christmas. Remarkable blokes. You don't become an arsehole just by being an officer, because there's a lot of officers go in that actually don't want to be a general. They want command, and they want tactical command at the lowest level for prolonged periods of time. They want to be part of the fight. And they think, I can do this. I want to be challenged. I want to be something that the men are proud of. I want to protect the men with good leadership. And that's awesome. As a fitter, it wasn't easy money. Fitters had to be familiar with all equipment in the regiment. I was at 2CAV. Awesome. My father was with 2CAV in Vietnam. All weapon systems, general engineering, marine and dive gear, pressure vessels. I'm not good with my hands. I've told people before, it is a fluke that I've got a daughter, Sometimes I could make myself happy in a blackout, if you know what I mean. But, man, it's fine. I can confirm, put Artie down. They're all in for me, and I'm all in for it. I love that. Be dedicated to what you want to be in. And remember there, Spoons, that when you go to artillery, it is similar to being in the F1, like McLaren's, Ferrari, etc. You were the pit crew for a weapon that delivers arsenal, on an enemy across the horizon. Yep. And we need you there, but we don't have to get along. G'day, Pally. How you going, mate? How difficult is it to get as an intel analyst for RAF? Well, I don't know, Jake. It depends on you. I dare say they're always after them. Yeah, just like Army. I wouldn't recommend it for someone who is 18, 19 or 20. I'd want you to have life experience first. It used to be that you had to have time in a combat corps so you're able to identify things on or human behaviors, so that would lead into something and you could make an analysis on that. But that changed. Again, we dropped standards. Do infantry officers make the best officers? I would say pretty close to yes. Okay, what's a good officer? Is it someone that agrees with you? Is it someone that just protects you? No. It's someone that has that separation between you and them, but when the chips are down, that they're in for the right reason. They can make a command decision. They can send you to your death, even if it's for a victory, but get you also home safely. Yep. They've got to be good at their job. They have to have studied history. They have to know what bad command looks like. They have to have moral courage, but also have the politics to know to be careful who they say it to. Can't say it to the Chief of the Defence Force, he'd burn you. What are we going on with here? Billy, Kaz, what's your opinion on Tucker Carlson as Trump's running mate? I didn't know that was the case. He had the balls to interview the supposed most dangerous leader in the world. Not something Kamala could have done. Kamala is honestly, she's a crash test dummy, man. Do you need to be a politician to be a politician? I'd say the only people that shouldn't be politicians are politicians. I want to hear someone that has worked in their life, that has been in the trenches, that has children. You should always have to have children and a fucking dog. If you don't have children and a dog, how could I ever trust you? You have to have something to lose before you can tell me what to do. That's what I reckon. What's this one? Wixes. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I've been looking at air defense operator. Don't like it. What are some roles similar that would be good to look into? There is none. They're a security guard for a rectangle on the ground. Outside and protecting them is infantry. If I was you, Wixes, I would get on the Patreon. It's in the comments below. Bam. And find the Patreon link. Come on here, have a one-on-one conversation with me, and I'll tell you the pitfalls of going to RAF Agi as opposed to going to infantry. If you want to get tested in your life and not become a crash test dummy for special forces opposition, then give us a call. That's a dangerous name. Nicholas Jones. 2 first names. Confuses people. What's your name? Jones. Okay, Jonesy. I'm halfway through my application to Infinity. Why does it take so long to apply? There's something broken with the system, man. It ain't your fault. It's not your fault. There's something broken with the system. I don't know what it is. It pisses me off too. Just keep annoying them, mate. Be that squeaky wheel. For field exercises, are they scheduled in advance? Yes, and passed on to members so you know when your next months look like to an extent. But you can also be called out with no notice whatsoever. When did that happen to you, Kaz? Many times when I was in the Operation Deployment Force, which was always the 1st or the 2nd Battalion, 2-4-R2 as well. And another example of that is when Timor happened. We got called in, you're not going home. When September 11 happened, when the Twin Towers came down, come in, you're not going home. Wait until we see what's happening next. I take it you're a family man, Matty Bridges? Yes, he is. There will be always a progression of training. Individual, followed by collective, followed by platoon, followed by company, battalion, brigade, army. So you will know what's coming up. You will. It doesn't help the army at all to not keep you in the loop. Yep. Thanks for that, Simon Powell. Leland. That's a good name. Hey, Kaz, at 36, I've gone Choco, drone operator. Excellent. in arty rather than infantry. Just passed my medical in an interview. Can we get some thumbs up there for Leland? You know, he's getting paid to play with Mavics. You know, fantastic, mate. Someone's got to go to artillery so other people that don't want to don't have to go there. But this is a guy who clearly knows at 36 that maybe he's missed his time, you know, but gone in and being realistic about what he can do. I love it. You could have gone infantry at 36 in Army Reserve. You absolutely could have. Great to have you here, mate. Crusher. I'd rather you be crusher than crushed. Simon Pally, yes. Otherwise, the senior ranks get too close to their troops. Yep, you don't want that. They have to accept casualties and accept it and write letters to your mum and dad. Right. Kaz, what are your thoughts about the SAS on Channel 7? Is that the Who Dares? Is that like Ant Middleton sort of one? Yeah. I don't think it's realistic of anything to do with special forces training at all, to tell you the truth. But I love it. It's entertaining. I always shit myself when they do the heights things and also when they do the claustrophobia things. So I know what the difference in admittance for special forces officers are opposed to enlisted applicants. Yeah, you become an enlisted officer, and then when you're around captain, they take you in to become a special forces officer. And when you do your special forces training for SASR commandos, etc., there'll be officer packages which run parallel to those of enlisted men. Very, very hard, very, very selective. And also remember, the officers aren't on the tools. They're planners, they're coordinators. I'm going to get out of here in a second, team, because we've got a guest here. It's actually Donald Trump. No, it's not. It's Hillary Clinton. Hey, Hillary, how you going? He's good. Hillary Clinton, he's good. Work that one out. I'll give a nickname to everyone. Hey, Briggsy, how you going, mate? Okay. Crusher. Tobes, yes, officers cannot elect to go the SF. Enlisted can't. No, they can elect to go to SF. Yeah, absolutely they can. Okay, but they have to also be released by their commanders as well. And when you go as an officer, you'd better bloody pass too. Dave D, great point too. Arty reserves is drones, no guns or mortars. There you go. And mortars never used to be with artillery either. You know, they are infantry only. And there used to be really big debates between mortars who were organic to infantry against those of artillery, because mortars were so much faster to get in action and get rounds on the ground to save the day. For all of those in the Roman project, we're looking good, team. Looking good. I'm painting some at the moment. We've got a whole bunch of the scouts, the velites getting painted. Here's some of our principes at the moment for those that are on Patreon. We've painted over 130 of them now. They haven't got their shields on yet, or the mud that is there on the ground for them. But that is coming along very, very well indeed. Coalition motivation, nearly zero issue. Officers do some slightly different stuff on selection. Other than that, no difference. Only in Rio is when it changes. There you go. Thank you very much, Coalition motivation. I've been there along on barrier tests with officers, and that's awesome. They realise they're in the same journey as what the NCOs are, and their candidate number. You see a side of them, same deal when an officer is on a course in an infantry battalion for a support company platoon. Again, they're not there as an officer. They are just another participant on a course, and they are just like a mate. Don't abuse it and be a dick to them, but they relish the opportunities to be treated like a human being, believe me. Jared, g'day, mate. How you going? Kaz, what were your avenues after Army? How is it jumping back into civvy league? Well, this is the thing. For those that don't know, I was put on a military pension when I was out of the Army. Okay, I've got a cocktail of things wrong. Perfect storm, paper, scissors, rock, if you will. So exploding asshole syndrome, not caused by naval service or being in close proximity to Navy. I've got ulcerative colitis, means at any given time, I can have catastrophic problems with the back end, which means I can't do anything, can lose 10 kilos plus in a month easy and can't get away from the loo. I've also 3 centimeters shorter than what I was when I joined the army because of the compression of my back from wearing the packs. Not to mention, I've got some problems up there with the scon from a value system being smashed to pieces during my service in Rwanda, Central Africa. Put those together and they said, mate, you've done your job. We're taking all of your superannuation, but instead we're going to pay you a pension for life. I hope you die soon to make it cheaper for us. And so that's what I do. So rather than be into alcohol, potato surfing, on the lounge, what I've chosen to do is have a give back channel to you guys and create some sort of system where I can look after you in the absence of guidance from DFR. Yeah, so that's what I do. Long story. Officers get it harder in the SA selection course. Absolutely they do. Absolutely. And you'd expect that too, especially if you're an officer. Brady, probably not Jamie. They have a lot invested in your training. They don't want you to fail. No one wants you to fail. They want you to succeed, but they want you to succeed by merit. Jamie, okay, so do you think it would be easy to convert to a combat role after doing a trade in any of the services? You won't do it. You just won't do it, mate. It's just not the way it works. It doesn't make sense, and they won't want to release someone who they've spent all of that money and time on. But a lot of infantry guys do go to engineers and then become sparkies, carpenters, etc. Finger red one, stopwatch, blue hand timer. Okay, Nicholas Jones. Why is it that no one can tell the Defence Minister to look into the problems in the recruitment process instead of trying to let non-citizens join? Who knows, mate? I think it's because there might be a civil war happening between the Chief of the Defence Force and maybe a spineless Defence Minister. Who writes the reports for the Chief of the Defence Force? I don't know, but it shouldn't have been a good report. Okay. Hey, Lachlan O'Brien, member for 32 months. That's fantastic, mate. Can we get some thumbs up for Lockie here? That's a really good stint, mate. And that should be for people here for the first time. That's a really good sign that at least I'm trying to be consistent with my message to you. So thank you very much, Lockie. I'd love to know what's going on in your life, mate. Mr. Buccarooni. Okay, so I hope I live to 100, mate, to get every cent out of the arseholes. I hope I live to 100 years old too, because I'm an optimistic guy. And I believe that there is so many great things happening in society, despite the fact that universities are telling us what's the point of breeding? You've only got a day to live because of climate change. I think I'd love to see the evolution of technologies, of life. The world has never been smaller, okay, where you can find out everything about everyone, where those that are against you can't hide the truth anymore. I love it. Military is upriver from university and rewards the service with self-awareness, maturity, responsibility, wisdom. Okay. Oh, sorry. That was the message from before. Okay, guys. Trappy, there you go, mate. Matty Bridges, Aussie legend. What do you think about the fitness standards of the Defence Force lowering exponentially, Kaz? It's not really dropping for arms corps. It's only dropping for support corps. Now, the danger to this is we're getting to the stage where I think it's getting close to the time, if they're going to have a separation, us and them, where it should almost be normal for combat soldiers, being artillery, cavalry, armoured corps, okay, and infantry to maybe break away from Kapuka and get trained by combat soldiers for everything, from the day they enlist to the day they're fully qualified. There's other countries that do that. If you want to create two armies, then let's have two armies. I want to know that everyone to my left and right, in front and behind, has been taught the same standards and judged at the same standards. I can't stand knowing there's people that are in the service that are getting paid the same amount for phenomenally lower standards than what I'm expected. Because one day I might need them. I know if they need me, I'll be there. But if I need them, will they be there? not if the standard is low and they only make it to those standards. There needs to be one standard, hold people to it. The standard should never be that low that you don't need to train to meet it. That's what I reckon. The cinematics of this cartoon is phenomenal. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this again. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to play this again for those that are watching as an introduction / conclusion to this video tonight. And understand, I am looking for a couple of people to come and assist me with reaction videos, with the extrapolation of geopolitical issues. So we can start that, because I can't do another 500 videos on military. Everything you need to know is already in the videos. If you need more, bam, I want to see you on Patreon. Let's have that one-on-one conversation. Here we go. It is very important that I put this subject out there, and this should have been right at the start. The importance of learning and have an education of yourself before you go and follow at great expense some industry, some course through university where you're going to start paying from day one, and no guarantee you're going to make it through, and is there going to be a job for you at the end? I'd rather get paid from day one, do a university degree equivalent about myself, an apprenticeship about myself, so that I become the best version of me. So by the time I'm 24, after doing the 4-year commitment like you would for a trade, like you would for a university degree, learn about yourself. Where's your failure point? Can you trust yourself? What's the real traits about you that you don't know yet as you go into a separation of child to actual adult that can take responsibility for actions, a reportable version of yourself based on actual events, and then be able to do a reorganization of yourself and then follow your passion for the rest of your life. You're going to be working until you're 80. So don't have a problem with taking your time, pump the brake, do something physical about friendship and mateship from the start, so that you've only got to make the right decision once. You really should do that when you go for a life partner. To become a lovebird, less is better and the grass is not greener. Let's see how we go in this stream. Army, then education, external education. There's only one way to do it, really. It's not for everyone, but if you're going to do it right. See ya. Okay. I'll quickly answer this one before we get out of here. Well, one other thing, JTB. Guys, would you say that uni is better to do before army? No. University gives absolutely fucking nothing to army. Nothing. Okay? If you're able to graduate as an officer program in such areas as engineering, it gives nothing. Health, nothing. Because we already have our doctors, they're already part of the Army Reserve program normally. Science and law. Why would you go through all of that in STEM and then come and join the military? You go to the military, you get the skills, know who you are, know how to apply yourself academically, and then get to a position of calm where you know who you are, and then you get out and then you attack these subjects with gusto, with art, with leadership, and be the best version that these industries need from you. Going with these into army, what happens? You've just now got a redundant bloody degree. I don't see how it helps. Anyway, let's get out of here and remember one thing. If you join the military instead of going to university, and then after the very first 6 to 8 months of training Kapuka and initial employment training, etc., right? Then imagine if you actually had that money and put that money into the ASX, into some compound interest money-making way, and then you compare that to 4 years of just paying money. Could you imagine the head start you'd give yourself on self-development as well as financial and economic value? Phenomenally. It'd be phenomenal, the difference between. So I wish you the best. Make the decision. This is about starting a conversation. Someone has to, because no one else does it. And I wish you the best. We want the best for you young people out there, even though we kick your ass all the time, when it comes to judging. But we want you to succeed. We do. It's frustration from older people that makes them lash out at the young, just like the young always blame the generation before, the living years. listen to that song. It's phenomenal. Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson. Listen to that every single day. You can't go wrong. Guys and gals, I still call Australia home. We're girt by sea. I want the best from you. Love your family. Love your mum, or I will. See you later. That's Kaz from In the Trenches. Out to you.